Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah, good man. Good.
You have
Uh,
a very cool looking room. It's got a good vibe.
thanks, man. I call it my trash room. It's full of action figures. I'm the 40-year-old virgin who's got kids. So, um,
Hey man, me too. I think it's just slightly different hobbies. That's all.
yours is I think a little bit more acceptable though because you've got like nice cars and nice equipment and things like that. Where mine is
Nah,
just
man, nerds are cool now. It was we had to hide it when we were younger, but now you can just show everyone. I'm into Eurorack synthesizers. Trust me, it's pretty dark. You know, there's stuff that like there's stuff I'd still get beaten up for if people knew about. So
yeah, but does your other half go, what's that? And you go, oh, nothing. It's always been there. And they're like, no, it hasn't. You just bought.
no, she's quite accepting, thankfully, but that's also maybe why she is the other half.
Yeah, my wife is tolerant to a extent.
Tolerant is a good word. That's a good
Yeah,
word.
yeah. I know my limits, and that's if I
Yeah,
brought one too many records or too many action figures into the house. It's like, sit down, fuck, we got to have a talk. It's like, all right, man.
yeah.
All right, all right. And man, it's been a little while since we've spoken. The last time, I can't remember what it was, but I remember where I was. I was sitting. I actually ditched work, and I was sitting in my car in the middle of summer with the windows cracked down, having a chat to you on the phone. It was that
Oh, really?
long ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like a dog in a hot
Wow.
but it was a great chat. I remember that. It was one of my favorite interviews. So there we go.
Oh, there we go. That's awesome.
But how you been anyway, man? You been good?
Yeah, yeah. Just keeping up with all the various projects and hobbies. I don't think I need to invent more time. I think that will if we could like implement a 30-hour day. I think that's it's not even that much. A 30-hour day would solve all my problems.
Or a cloning machine? See? That would
Yeah,
work.
that also, God, that would be yeah, that would really help, wouldn't it?
Man, I wish. I wish. But I don't know if I could I'd just drive myself crazy.
I would too.
But man, you're coming back down for the Monolith tour with Coheed and Cambria and Leprous and Intervals and Novelists and Silver Fang, which is huge for us, man. Like the Brisbane one's almost sold out, and the other ones are picking up speed as well. How are you feeling about finally coming back to Australia after so long?
It sucks. I don't really like the country or the people. But you know, I guess we got books, so we have to go now. You know, no, I'm just joking. Like, it's one of our favorite places on the planet. Like, it's. I feel like I say this in every interview, but it is true. And maybe people are like, oh, he says this about every city. It's like, no, man. Like Australia is a vacation. It feels like we're going on vacation when we're going there. And you know, obviously, I think Americans and Australians always get along pretty well. You guys are ball busters, which I like, you know? Like
Yes.
I feel like culturally you guys are ball busters and that just makes me very happy. I feel like there's a kinship there, you know? And uh you know, people are nice, the weather's great generally. I was once in this like torrential downpour now that I think about it. I forget where. But generally speaking the weather's nice and the shows are incredible. The fans are nuts.
You should have just left that in saying that we were terrible and horrible.
Yeah, I know I should have. You could just cut out the rest, right?
That's my, but I mean, people down here would get it. They'd go, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's taking the piss. He loves us. Of course he does. But have you toured with any of those guys before?
Intervals we toured with. Wait, who else is on the lineup? I think
Coheed
it's
and Cambria, Leprous.
no. I mean that Leprous we have actually not toured with, but I've wanted to. Like we've tried to make that happen. It's one of those things where like it just never worked out. But like I've definitely submitted them for tours because I think they're awesome. Coheed we've never toured with. So yeah, I think just out of that line of just intervals.
There you go. And you know, all the bands on the bill are incredible musicians, especially like the Coheed and Leprous guys. Love them, love them. When touring with bands like that, do you seek opportunities to maybe talk gear or creativity, you know, to see how they tick and get inspiration, or is it usually too busy and everyone's just sort of dragging the luggage around trying to get to the next show?
In Australia, yeah, it's weird because there's so much flying. We love hanging out with other bands. Like we just love hanging out. So we will do it wherever possible, and we love to hang out with other, anyone from other bands that wants to hang out. But sometimes, people are a bit more private, and like I would never fault anyone. So it just sort of happens organically. The thing about Australia is with all the traveling, and we also arrived like just absolutely jet lagged. Like it's so brutal. We basically are kind of good to go by the time the last show rolls around, and then we head back home and get jet lagged. So it's just between everything and all the traveling. Sometimes you don't get to hang out quite as much, but we basically take any opportunity that we can. And then, oh, you may talk about gear because we're all nerds, and like that can come up, but oftentimes you just talk about life or whatever. Music isn't, or being in a band isn't generally the first thing that comes up in those conversations. It's kind of like, let's talk about anything else, you know?
Yeah. Has there been a band over the years that you've toured with that you like have been maybe a bit unsure of, like, oh, these going to be cool guys, or are they, and then you've just become best buddies just out of the blue?
Uh, um, I don't think that there's really been a band that we like went on tour with and be like, God, like I think these guys are gonna suck or something. I'll tell you something, like, and maybe you're gonna think this is a cop out answer, and maybe this is more just because we're in the prog scene and we're all just a bunch of nerds. But generally speaking, people are really nice. Like all the bands we meet are really nice. The people
Hmm.
they're just like us. You're just meeting more of you, you know? So we tend to get along really well with everyone. And maybe I kind of expect that to be the case because it would be so rare to meet an asshole, right? Um, that like I kind of wouldn't expect that to happen. That doesn't really happen, you know? And my logic for this is that kind of to look, we play prog metal. Like there's a lot of money in this. There isn't anything other than like you're doing this because like it makes sense to your weird brain, right? So like the people who make it this far and survive generally have to be nice because if they aren't, then there's someone who is nice who will take their position, if that makes sense, you know? Um, so our experience has been pretty positive. Like there hasn't really been a band that's had to win us over because we're like, oh, they're gonna suck, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Everyone in in that sort of genre seems to be nice guys, nerdy
Yeah,
guys. So there you go.
nerdy but nice.
There you go. And that's not a knock because I'm one of them.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's why I get along great with.
Your latest album, Djent Is Not a Genre, came out last year, and it's a great fucking record, man. And I do agree with the title. This has been a hot topic for many years, and someone had to say it. But did you get any pushback on that? Have you people gone, yes, it is. It's not just a sound.
Oh, I mean, we can't say anything without getting pushback. Like our fans, they're very intense, and we love them, but like they always have an opinion about everything. The funny thing is, I do think it's a genre, so that's that's the best part because
Really?
who cares? It's like we're having fun with it because it's like again, like I tell people, the thing that made me laugh is that we'd have an album called "Djent Is Not a Genre," and then under it, genre djent. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to me that makes the title worth it right there. So and I think people like try to read into it a little too deep, and it's like, nah, man, we just got a chuckle out of it, and that was pretty much it. And then we forgot.
It's the look, man. It's the same argument as pineapple on pizza. You know what I mean? You either in that camp.
I don't know where you're going with this, but you may be about to have a really poor opinion. So I'd love to hear it.
I have a shit opinion about a lot of things, but it's just one of those things. Like you're either for it or you're not, but it doesn't
Well,
change.
are you for it or against it?
Me, I'm against it, but that
Oh,
doesn't
good,
matter because I'm
good.
just some jerk in Australia. But I know people.
Yeah, but funny enough, I was about to say that if you said it was good. So you don't know what you're talking about because you're just some jerk from
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah. See, I don't care. But I've had
But
I've had
yeah,
pizza and had that argument, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't
no, it
change.
doesn't. It doesn't matter to me because it doesn't affect me unless pizza is ordered for several people and we're sharing, and one of those pizzas that I could be eating a slice of has pineapple on it, and then I'm very sad.
Oh, okay. So you're one of them. All right.
Yeah, you should
Judgment.
never be sad about pizza. Never.
No, no, no. That's right. That's right. I never get sad about pizza, and that makes me the man I am today. But in regards to the songs on the album, I love the jazz part in Wildfire with the saxophone. Now, how do you go about translating that live? Do you just pull out a sax and just start wailing? Like, how does that work?
In my dream where I'm actually talented, that's what happens. But in real life, we just use backing tracks because that's all that we could do slash afford. It'd be great to have something just for that section. But no, the good old MacBook's hard at work on that one. We take a little break, have a little drink, you know.
Have you had people throw their hands up to go, "Hey man, I'll jump up and I'll play that part," and just jam with you?
No,
No.
no, and the logistics of that are like so much more complicated than it seems like in the movies. So, so even if someone came with a sax, it's like you'd have to mic them up. There'd have to be in ears so they could be on time. Like it's well, oh, I'm just killing dreams right now. I should have just said yes. I should
Yeah.
have just said yes. Now that I'm talking and hearing it,
What you need to do is get people just to get up there and pretend and just have
works for
like
me.
an oversized saxophone, like one of those big ones, and then you can walk off and just let them
That's
in.
I think that's exactly. I think that's exactly the solution.
I'm full of dumb ideas. But obviously things are easier these days for bands to distribute their music. But on that larger scale, like you guys, do you find that, that's been a challenge, with so many, being in that bigger market?
So, what you said there's a bit of a double-edged sword. It is easier, but as in it's doable. But I think some people see that and they're like, oh, I should just do that. And it's not a thing you should just do. Like, we
Hmm.
have our manager helping us. Like, he runs the label effectively, and it's a lot of work. And if we didn't have him doing that, I don't know that this would have made sense. But it's something that I was passionate about. He, he worked at labels and like kind of ran them in the past as well. So he knows what he's doing. But there's a lot of work. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. That's more than just sort of saying we have a label and putting out a record on it. And without that sort of setup, it might not be a viable thing for us. But we're lucky to have him, and then with our manager helping us with this, it's been something that's been a fun project because we've been signing bands that we believe in and just having fun. Like it's nice to have your own way to just release music, you know.
Hmm. And I mean, with the pressing of records and stuff too, there's all those outlays. I could imagine that
Well,
being
yeah, and there's money, you know.
yes.
It's all logistics and money. So it's one of those things that a lot of people are like, yeah, just do it yourself. It's like, sure, that as a sentiment, that's great, but do you like spending a lot of money and time doing things yourself? Like, is the return really going to be worth it? For some people, it is, and for some
Hmm.
people, it isn't. So this is why people are like, well, is it worth having a label? Is it worth? I'm like, it depends on the label, it depends on the band, depends on the deal, depends on so many factors. There isn't sort of a one size fits all. It really is a case by case thing, and that you have to look at like, and sometimes it's just decisions. It's like, yes, you could net more money if you did it all yourself, but is that worth the amount of work and stress and time and money that you'd have to front to get all that done? And that for some bands is yes, some bands is no.
And you've opened a coffee shop as well on the side. I mean, you do a lot of things. You got a few side hustles. I don't know how
Yeah,
you do
yeah, I
it.
got, I got, I got a few side hustles. You got to keep too busy. It's coffee roastery. We roast coffee, um, and we have an occasional tasting room, which is a complicated story that's frustrating. But but we do roast coffee. Yes, third wave third wave coffee that even Australians would appreciate.
Are you going to bring some down for us?
Probably not, and there's probably like import laws or whatever that make it really difficult. You could just order. It's Golden Lantern Coffee Roasters. We do ship internationally, so you can absolutely get it. And if you like nerdy coffee that tastes really good, then yeah, then we'll be right up your alley.
So I think it's really smart what you guys are doing, because if you got different side hustles, and I was talking to someone the other day about how there are bands out there that have businesses within the bands. It's either merch companies or they've got gear hire companies or things like that, just to offset the costs and things like that. I think it's really smart. It's like Nurgle from Behemoth as barbershops. Probably why he looks so dapper all the time. But I mean, do you think that's something that's important for bands to look at in this day and age?
I think you're sort of examining this from the other way around, and the real question is why do musicians have to have side hustles constantly? And the truth is that just I've said this for a very long time. It's been a very unpopular thing to say because I think it seems to be in the business of killing dreams, but it's very, very difficult to make a living just being a musician these days,
Yes.
especially if you're in a niche genre, especially if you're just trying to be a touring musician or whatever and you're trying to write original music. It's probably one of the most difficult things to make money with consistently. And as time's gone on since I started, there wasn't really streaming, but streaming, as we all know, has destroyed the ability to really make a lot of money for
Yes.
most people in that realm. And then, you're out touring all the time and selling merch. That's an oversaturated market as a result because everyone's doing that because they're not making money elsewhere. Kind of early on, when I started the band and I was hiring people, trying to find members, kind
Mm.
of told everyone, I was like, look, like, just so you know, like, um, uh, we're in a prog metal band. We are never gonna make money. So we should probably start coming up with some other alternative ways to start. Uh, sorry, I just got a text. I think it's the next
Oh, the next one's coming
interview.
through. Oh, yeah, yeah. I just saw it.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Sorry, man.
It's because I'm on it. I'm on it with Mark and Spencer. Let me just give him a quick message so we can wrap up real quick. Very sorry,
Are they there
but
with you there? They in the background?
no, they're just texting me, being like, "What's the deal
Oh, oh,
with this
okay,
one? Is
cool.
it starting now?" Because
All
I
right.
think I'm doing that with them. I think we just did these back to back, but I'd like to finish your interview properly. I don't want to like just sort of cut it off.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll make them wait. We'll make them wait.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I just had one real quick little question. 20th anniversary
Hmm.
next year for the band. Is that right?
Is it? Oh God, no. I guess
2005?
I did technically start the band in 2005. Can we call it something else? Can we call it like the fifth anniversary or something?
Okay, all right. The first
Yeah.
anniversary. Uh,
Yes.
stuff and let's scrap all those. But I mean, is it something you want to celebrate in some way?
No,
Okay,
absolutely not. I don't like celebrating much of anything.
okay,
So celebrating the fact that we're old and have been around for a while just seems painful.
okay. All right. Well, scrap that idea. I told you I'm full of bad ideas, bro. But
No,
man,
they're good. They're great ideas. I'm just weird.
like the saxophone idea. You know what I mean? I'll be in Brisbane and I'll have my giant inflatable saxophone ready to go.
See,
So if you
what
want
was happening, that was an elevator pitch and I didn't realize it. But yes, you can do that.
okay, thanks. All right, man. Well, bro, thanks so much for hanging out on the show. It's been good to, catch up with you, and I hope you and the boys enjoy the lead up to the tour and have a good time down here. It's going to be unreal.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. It was a lot of fun talking to you. And we will be there sooner than later. Can't wait.